Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Lindsay Monroe, and we will continue to monitor this developing winter storm system that is headed our way within the next 36 hours. Wanted to start with a look at the bigger picture and where this storm system is currently sitting. Still developing to our northwest, but we've got this Arctic air that's already starting to take over across the northern Great Plains states. And ahead of that, we've already seen winter storm warnings get issued. That's what this pink represents right here. We've also seen blizzard warnings get issued across portions of southern Minnesota. So that is what is headed our way. We are still under what will eventually be a winter storm watch. This will go into effect at 4 o'clock Thursday afternoon and will remain in effect through early Saturday morning. So nothing out there on radar right now. In fact, it is going to be a relatively quiet day. We will see some increased clouds during the morning hours as temperatures recover out of the 20s, 35 by noon, and then eventually back near 40 by 2 o'clock today, which is actually the average high at this point in the season and for the first official day of winter. 4 p.m. will still be near 40 and then forecasting highs to range from the upper 30s to areas north, 41 here in Indy and 44 down in Columbus later today. So this is your opportunity to run those errands, get to the grocery store, wrap up some of your holiday shopping trips, or if you are headed to a destination and you just want to avoid this whole system, I would just plan on leaving today. You got some time tomorrow as well before we see that rain to snow transition, but this is going to be a quiet day, good for traveling. Evening commute looks good. We'll go mostly cloudy skies as temperatures drop back out of the 40s and then eventually into the 30s. Things are going to change as we get into our Thursday. Overnight, we will see this move in around 2 o'clock in the morning. Temperatures will be near that freezing mark. So initially, we might see a few areas of patchy freezing drizzle. That will change over into all rain tomorrow morning. And then the showers will become slightly more widespread during the morning and into the afternoon on Thursday as temperatures warm back near 40 as we sit on the warm side of this storm system. 4 p.m. though is going to be that critical hour as that Arctic front moves in. We've got some big changes, and that is why the National Weather Service picked this time frame for that winter storm watch to go into effect. Potentially this could get upgraded to a winter storm warning. That is not the case just yet. When things change, we'll let you know, of course. This is when the front arrives and how it's going to impact our temperatures. We're going to drop from 40 degrees during that 4 o'clock hour on Thursday, falling to the single digits by midnight, and those numbers will continue to drop. With such a rapid decrease in temperatures and with that leftover moisture from the rain, that's going to form what is called a flash freeze. Essentially, that means a layer of ice will develop on any of those untreated surfaces, and because of the rain, I think it's going to be very difficult for crews to get out and do any type of pre-treating before the snow starts. So ice will be a possibility with snow falling on top of that, and it looks like all this is going to start to happen around 4 p.m. here in the Indy Metro, happening a little earlier over on the western side of the state. So that's why we're really encouraging folks to get their travel plans done by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We've got the combination of that flash freeze plus those heaviest snow rates are going to set up really as soon as that transition happens from rain to snow. Could potentially at times see snowfall rates 1 to 2 inches per hour. That will happen through the evening hours on Thursday into the early morning hours on Friday. Altogether with this system, once the heavy snow starts to wrap up, we will see 4 to 6 inches of accumulation around the metro, and this does depend on where you live and how much snowfall potential you could see out of this entire system. If you're headed to the north, that's where those higher snowfall amounts will be. And I don't want you in south and southeastern parts of the state to look at this map and say, oh, only 2 to 4 inches doesn't seem like a big deal. Here's why it is going to be a big deal, because not only are we going to get this heavy snowfall, once that wraps up, the wind is really going to start to gust, and that will form into the blowing and the drifting that will continue to keep those road conditions quite treacherous. Let's start this hour-by-hour forecast tomorrow morning when rain will be most likely here during the 2 o'clock hour, even as we start to see that transition over on the western side of the state. We'll still be in the 40s at this point. Watch how quickly that temperature is going to drop as rain becomes snow, heavy at times. Thursday evening, this is around 5 p.m., and then we'll continue to see some of this heavy snow during the overnight. These are your air temperatures, by the way. We will already be below zero, looks like by about midnight. And as the heaviest of the snow moves out, we'll still see some lingering light snow through Friday morning. But then this cold air will start to become the main weather story. Air temperatures dropping as low as 5 below. But then when you factor in the 30 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts, this is what's going to be the biggest concern here, that wind chill forecast. Some of us, especially in northern Indiana, could see wind chill values dropping as low as 40 below by Friday morning. And through the course of the day Friday, we're not expecting a warming trend. In fact, temperatures are going to stay down. Most of us continue all day Friday with wind chill values ranging from 40 to 20 below, with air temperatures only in the single digits. We're forecasting a high air temperature Friday of about 3 degrees. So that's why dangerous travel will continue as the wind continues to pick up. The blowing and the drifting of the snow will be issues, and it will make it difficult for those road crews plowing and trying to keep everything clear, because snow will just get blown back where it does clear off. And that means blizzard conditions are going to be an issue. With this being said, a blizzard does not mean a lot of heavy snow or a lot of measurable snow. What it means is we're going to have a combination of blowing and drifting snow or actively falling snow combined with wind gusts of 35 miles per hour or higher, a sustained wind, I should say, of 35 miles per hour or higher over the course of 3 hours. And visibility also has to be around a quarter of a mile or less for that 3-hour duration. I think potentially we could see that early in the morning on Friday, but as we continue on, the wind will continue to bring issues like perhaps damage because of high wind gusts, down trees, down power lines, and that could lead to some power outages mixed with the dangerous cold. That is a tough combination during the course of the day on Friday. So I do want everyone to be prepared for that as we look ahead at Friday. Now, ongoing into the weekend, those strong wind gusts will be likely through Saturday morning. So the blowing and the drifting of the snow will still be an issue on Saturday. But if you're trying to think ahead, when can we travel? When will it become safe again? I'm looking at Saturday afternoon and beyond as the wind starts to ease. 7 will be the high. As we get into the weekend, this is Christmas Eve. 3 below will be the temperature for Christmas morning. And then it does look like things will become a little bit more quiet for Christmas Day. We're forecasting a high of 13. That's going to put this in the top 5 coldest Christmases that we have had on record here in Indy. 13, we last saw a temperature that cold back in 1884, but it has been as cold as 4 below for a high temperature. So we're not going to break any records, but we are certainly going to be within the top 10 with those kind of temps. So here's the 7-day forecast. As things get active, keep in mind, rain becomes snow. Looks like after 4 o'clock Thursday, that's going to be that critical time Thursday night into early Friday morning when travel will be the worst. The snow will be coming down at its heaviest, and that's when we get those accumulations. Blowing and drifting becomes an issue once that heavy snow ends Friday morning. The cold sticks around into the weekend. Blowing and drifting snow still going to be possible here through Saturday morning before the wind starts to ease. 7 your high Christmas Eve, 13 Christmas Day. And then once this snow does fall, it's not going anywhere, because check out your temperatures. We're going to stay well below freezing all the way through the first part of next week. A high of 22 Monday and 26 next Tuesday. And eventually it does look like it will warm up by the middle part of next week, but it's going to be a cold stretch here. We're going to be dealing with this snow sticking around for several days. So as you're planning ahead for the holiday weekend, please keep this in mind and stay safe in your travels.